Alright, hello everyone. My name is Lucy Bartholomew and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about myself, about my plant-based journey, about being an athlete, and kind of how all those worlds collide. So it's really awesome that as hard as 2020 has been, that we still have the opportunity to connect and technology. And when I got reached out to do this, I thought, this is awesome. This is so cool. This is what 2020 is all about, is growing. And, you know, I'm not someone who loves public speaking or is very good at it, but I do love sharing and connecting and telling my story, and hopefully inspiring people to make small changes or just to be themselves. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk to you. I'm going to start off with talking a little bit about who I am, why I'm standing here in front of you, and then kind of go into my running career, my plant-based journey, and then the nitty-gritty fun stuff of food and why that fuels and how that fuels my passion. So going back, I started running when I was about 14. I ran my first 100K when I was 15, side by side with my dad. For 12 and a half hours, we ran along the coastline in Victoria in Australia and had the best time. You know, it wasn't about being fast. It wasn't about being first. It was about curiosity. And I think when I think about my life, I'm led by curiosity. Curiosity led me to having an eating disorder when I was 12. Curiosity led me to run my first 100K when I was 15. Curiosity then made me go, what else can I do? What else is out there? Curiosity led me to go, how can I eat without harming animals? Curiosity has made me create dishes and use ingredients, and travel the world and be fascinated with culture and living their lifestyles and their nutrition and their diets, and kind of taking that in and kind of creating the best version of myself. Curiosity can kill the cat, and curiosity can give the cat its best life, is kind of a saying that I live by. So when I ran my first 100K at 15, had a great time. You know, me and Dad ran along side by side. We spent the day eating a lot of food, just taking it one step at a time, supporting each other, and just having a ball. When I finished that race, I was so excited. I was like, what's next? What's bigger? What can I do? And it wasn't until I found a race in the Simpson Desert in the middle of Australia, 240 kilometers, 7 days. And I went out there as a 16-year-old and I won the race overall. I beat all the men, all the women, all the older, wiser, more, stronger, more educated people. Because I was just ran for me. I listened to me. I was one of the last on day 1 and I was first on day 5. And it kind of really showed me life is something that we should do slowly. It's something that we should, you live full gas, have fun, take opportunities. But at the same time, you've got to sustain yourself. You've got to pace yourself. You know, they say running an ultra marathon, which is anything over 42.2 kilometers, is like living a day in a life. A life in a day, sorry. And I believe that living life is living ultras every day. Every day we wake up, we have to repeat, we have to put one foot in front of the other. And sometimes getting up is tough. Sometimes going out the door is tough. But it's always worth it. I feel like every day I come back and I go, wow, I learned something about myself. I was able to help someone else. And they all add up to making the best version of me. So fast forward, I left high school. I decided to take a gap year, which I'm not sure if that's a common term, but it's a year in between high school and university. And you usually go travel and just kind of find your passion to then come home and to study that. So I went overseas traveling. Took my runners and was just kind of excited about what opportunities laid out there. 6 years on and I'm still kind of living a gap life. I'm still traveling. You know, I found passions in little things, but nothing that I'm like, I need to go study this further. I feel like my traveling has enabled me to learn so much, and the internet is an amazing place, and just human connection and talking is an amazing thing. So I traveled, I picked up a sponsorship. I'm very lucky to be sponsored by some great brands, being Solomon Running, Sunto, Spring Energy for my nutrition, Julbo and Labent. And I started becoming a full-time athlete without even knowing. I had created this life and I had this following on social media, and I had these people that were excited to meet me, wanted to listen to what I had to say. And it was during this time when I was starting to kind of increase my training. I was doing a lot of reading. You know, what could I do? What workouts could I do? How long do I need to sleep? How much water do I need to drink? And a big thing that kept coming up, and the first book I read about it was Scott Jurek's book, Eat and Run, which is a book where this guy becomes this amazing athlete and he tries different ways of eating and living and does the same race, and he sees the improvements and he sees the sacrifices that come with each. And I took on a lot of what he said with following a plant-based diet. Now, I was living with my parents at the time. My mom always cooked the dinners, kind of just that was the way life went. And when I said, you know, I feel like I want to do vegetarian. I want to be vegetarian. I want to cut out meat. And to them, it was kind of a very unfathomable thing. You know, it's a very old school thinking to have your plate needs to be a meat and 3 veg. You know, a meat, a grain, and a fat. And, you know, my mom was like, well, if you're going to take something out of your food pyramid, if you're going to take something off your plate, you need to replace it. And you need to do it really smart. And especially as an athlete and as a female, there's a lot to take in. So I did a lot of reading, curiosity. I went online. It was amazing. You type in a few words, boom. Curiosity took me down the rabbit hole, and I found more than enough information, probably too much information. But I absorbed it all. I loved it. I loved hearing about the different kind of ways you can cook things, how you can make it affordable, the different flavors, the different textures, and how to make a balanced meal. And it was from there that I was like, I want to try this. I want to try this for a month. Curiosity, see what happens, see how I feel. And I can safely say the first month, I was like, I feel amazing, I feel great, like I am ready to run, I want to sleep, I feel good, I'm like super, you know, super fit, super lean, feeling good. And then that becomes your normal. And I think a lot of people don't talk about that. We all talk about how plant-based eating makes us feel amazing all the time. But your normal and your amazing shifts. And when that becomes your normal, you're suddenly like, oh, I feel a little tired. And then people will say, well, that's because you're not eating meat and you're not getting enough iron and you're clearly anemic and la 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 la. But the thing is, and the truth is that you're just so, your new standard is up here. Everyone else is down here. And I want to talk about some of the benefits that I found with eating a plant-based diet. Some of those include, the biggest one is recovery. When you can recover better, you can train better. When you can train better, you race better. When you race better, you have grow confidence. And from growing confidence, you then take that back to your training and you can go harder. And it allows and enables this snowball effect that makes you into the strongest being that you can. So the way this works and the way I kind of tell myself in my mind, and I urge you to think of it like this, is when we have dinner, and generally people will have a piece of meat for dinner. That piece of meat takes, you know, about 16 hours to digest completely, to completely come in, be absorbed or whatever it does, pulled apart, and then out the other end. If you have that and then you go to sleep, all through your sleeping time, your body is digesting. Sleep time is known about as a time that is for repairing, growing, strengthening your muscles. And so it's really kind of counterproductive to have a lot of energy going to your stomach to break down the meat. When you eat a plant-based dinner, it takes about 6 hours at the most. That's like a processed piece of plant-based meat or a mock meat or whatever. When you eat that 6 hours, you probably have dinner 2 hours before going to bed, 4 hours. Okay, so maybe from 9 till 12, you're going to be digesting. But then you've got 12 till 7 or 6 or 7 or 8, whatever time you wake up, to then just be, all the energy goes into resting, to repairing, to recovering, to growing, to strengthening. You wake up, you break your fast with breakfast. when you've got meat in your stomach, that 16 hours might not even be over by the time you start piling in some porridge or some toast. So that was kind of the biggest thing for me in terms of how I can be the best athlete, is to recover that well. So I really wanted to share that with you. That was kind of my biggest message, is that if I don't expect you to go vegan overnight, you know, if that's you feel inclined like I did, amazing, do that. But what I wanted to share with you is if you can just make one meal, one day, a meatless day, an animal-free day, a vegan day, and you look and you Google online, I urge you to explore your curiosity. Whether you're just a human being who's participating in society, goes to 9-to-5 job, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, an athlete, I urge you just to see what you can do to level up, to become stronger, to be better. You know, we can all do little things to help the world, we can do little things to help ourselves, and we can do little things to help others. And others being animals, others being our friends, others being our colleagues, and just kind of looking at it as we give and we take. You know, I'm by no means perfect. I travel the world, I'm in an airplane a lot of the time, but following a plant-based diet is something that I get to decide what goes into my body, that I will use to fuel me for these 100-kilometer, 100-mile efforts that I get to do around the world. And I think that's something that's really, really special. When you go to the supermarket, you have an opportunity to choose where your money goes. Who are you going to support? What kind of culture do you believe in? And for me, it's one that doesn't harm animals, doesn't sacrifice lives. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. I recently wrote a cookbook that kind of shares my favorite recipes, shows how simple it can be, how affordable, different flavors, different tastes. And it's one of my favorite things, is to share and to cook for people, because what goes in gives you the ability to take energy out and to give back into the world. So we give and we take. So I want to just close out with this talk and just say that you don't have to do this perfectly. The world doesn't need everyone to be perfect plant-based athletes, plant-based beings. It just needs everyone trying a little bit, everyone doing a little thing. So you can check out my cookbook. There is a discount code so that you guys, for participating in this festival, listening to me speak and ramble on, and you can download that. It's also going to be available in hard copy soon. But yeah, I urge you to eat plant-based. I urge you to drink lots of water. I urge you to sleep well. I urge you to move your body. If there's anything I've learned as an athlete, it's that those little 1%ers, those little things we do on the daily, those basics, do them well. So I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. I know I speak probably a little fast. My Australian accent maybe is a little tough. But yeah, I'd love for you to follow me online at Instagram at Lucy Bartholomew. Follow my training if you want to. Follow my recipes and some of my exploring and community that I get to meet along the way. It's been a biggest pleasure to talk to you today. I mean, 2020 has been tough, but this is a pretty awesome way to end it. So thank you so much for having me, and I wish you the best day.